Hello, hello, and welcome to the Mindset with Mary podcast. As many of you know who have already been here, the name is soon to change, but it's not quite ready. I still have a few decisions to make. A lot of what I'm wanting to shift into is really this idea that there's the balance between the mindset and the spirituality. There's this overarching idea that we can't just simply regulate our nervous system without the mindset work. We can't do the mindset work and expect new ideas and thoughts to embed into our subconscious if we're not regulating our nervous system and feeling safe in our body. And then along with that, tapping into that universal intelligence and really starting to become aligned with not just the things that society tell us that we want, but the things that we know deep in our soul that we came here to achieve and accomplish. So there's that, but then also we exist in 4 different realms. We exist emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and we need to honor all 4 of those. And so the idea of this name shift is really stepping into more alignment with all 4. Understanding that you can do the work with the mindset, but things don't shift unless you're also doing the other 3 areas as well. So the name is soon to change. Stay tuned because I'm so excited for that to come. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the law of pure potential. And the reason I really want to dive into this is because this is really the basis for how we start to quantum leap and start to shift into a new identity that allows us to filter our circumstances and situations from pure potential and really start to see massive shifts in our belief system that allows us to step into what we're wanting to manifest. This is why it's so important, is because we manifest what we feel safe holding, and that stems from how we filter our world. And that comes from our belief system. We all have a reticular activating system. It's a bundle of nerves at the bottom of our brainstem. And what that job of the RAS, or reticular activating system, is to literally filter unnecessary information. And it filters that based on our belief system, based on our intentions. And the issue with the belief system is that a lot of times we're not aware of what's really going on. So today we're going to talk about the law of pure potential, and something I want to just get started with is just simply like understanding as above, so below. What is going on in the cosmos is happening also here on Earth. What is going on in our outer world is also what's going on in our inner world. And that's not something we want to use against ourselves, right? Because life is a mirror, and what's going on in our inner world, we see in the outer world. We don't want to use that against ourselves and not have compassion there, because we can take that and look at it from this lens of like, oh, I'm not doing good enough. And that's what we're going to reflect into the outer world, is simply that. And so we want to look at it from this lens of compassion. If I love myself and I'm okay that I'm not where I want to be, and still can hold that intention, still hold the goal and continue to work towards it, that is going to start to shift and show us the manifestation in the external world as well. So the law of pure potential is simply stating that we are all infinite potential. We hold the power of God within us. We are all part of the universe. We're all part of this bigger piece of the puzzle, right? Like all of the cells in my body make up me, and each of them are working individually, but also they're working together. And that's why the saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. Because if at my core is infinite potential, which is simply the connection between our individual consciousness and the cosmic consciousness, then there's this unending divine source within us. All energy is pure potential, which means you are pure potential because you are energy. Simply because you have consciousness and can think. and your thoughts create emotions because the thought triggers a chemical response within your body that creates a wave of energy, which you feel as an emotion. You are energy. And because everything is pure potential, so are you. The only thing that is stopping you from allowing pure potential is your belief system. Those are the limits to the principle. And even though the principle itself is limitless and it's ready to fill the space with unlimited abundance, if you are blocking yourself from that abundance, then you are not going to be able to receive that abundance. So I want you to think of it like this. We have this water flow, right? A river. And say there's different channels within the river that go different ways, but one channel is blocked off. The abundance can't flow into that channel unless we open that. And that block is simply just your subconscious processes, the commands or the thoughts or the things that you have been taking on as truth simply because of what you've learned through society, what you've learned through childhood, basically just conditioning that holds us back from seeing things as pure potential. Because we really so often live in our circumstance. So the channel will flow freely if we open up to it. And this is where the work comes in. This is where the things really start to shift. And this is why I teach my clients a very specific process that begins to open those channels up. And this starts with this 4 steps to everlasting change. It is literally the process through which all transformation happens. And if you follow this process, you will see the results. So the process to really creating that everlasting change, to opening yourself up to that pure potential, begins with awareness. Awareness that we are all infinite intelligence, that we are all connected to source and something bigger than ourselves. And understanding that we may have limits. When we are aware of what those limits are, we can then start to shift them, right? Our subconscious mind makes up about 90 to 95% of our brain, where our conscious thinking brain makes up 5 to 10% of our brain. So our subconscious mind is really running the show. And oftentimes we're not even aware of what's going on in the background. So you can have all of these beliefs and these thoughts and things that you're not aware that are actually blocking you and keeping the flow of abundance. So then the second step of this is really starting to understand that we were born wide open and that we were not born with these limits. That fear did not come into the picture until we learned what to fear, which is not always a bad thing. It's just that there's a lot of misconception in our society of what's possible for us. And so that's really where things start to block us from being able to reach our goals. Plus, we have the biology in there. Our brain is simply just trying to keep us safe. Our body is trying to keep us safe. It doesn't know the difference between perceived threats and actual physical danger. So when we get introduced to something that scares us, for example, and this is one I use all the time, is we place our hand under hot water, it burns our hand, we pull back out, right? That then creates this moment of intensity. We feel it intensely and we're like, okay, in that moment, we think to ourselves, okay, I never want to put my hand under hot water again. I'm going to make sure that no matter what, I'm going to turn the temperature to the right place before I put my hand under the water. Well, that's what also happens with perceived threats, right? One that actually recently came to my attention and awareness is that there's this time I remember going to talk to my dad about something. And I remember in the moment, he was just like not going to have it. He was not going to deal with the emotions that I had to have. And I love him with my whole heart and soul. And I know that he never meant to hurt me in this moment. But in that moment when he was just like, I don't have time to deal with this, the thought that went through my brain And the reason this kind of came out is because I did some inner healing and past trauma, seeing the vision and allowing it to come forward into the forefront. In that moment, there was this idea, this thought that went through my brain that my emotions don't matter, that what I have to say and how I feel do not matter. And I took that on in that moment as truth. And that then started to filter in the background. So this second step is just understanding that as we become aware of these things that are holding us back, we have to understand that we don't need to put meaning on that circumstance. It doesn't actually have to mean that my emotions don't matter. It doesn't actually have to mean that what I have to say and how I feel doesn't matter to other people. I can choose then and understand that that was a circumstance in which I didn't appreciate, because actually my feelings do matter. Actually, what I have to say does matter. And as much as I love my dad, if he's not going to deal with my emotions, I'm going to choose not to take my emotions and my intense feelings to him. He's not going to be the one in the future that I go to when I'm looking for help or guidance. Love you, Dad. You're probably never going to listen to this, so it's okay. And if you do, hi, Dad, I love you. If you're listening to this, a lot has changed, so love you. But that's also part of the second step, is understanding that you also have no control over what other people are going to do, and you get to love them unconditionally despite that. My parents are probably never going to get on board with this personal growth journey that I am on. And as much as I would love for them to come on this journey with me, I don't have control over that. And so I get to let go of it. I get to free myself of thinking that maybe one day they're going to get on board. Because if I stay in the thought process of, I just wish they would change, can you see how you can consistently keep coming up with the thoughts and ideas that my emotions don't matter? I don't matter to them. And that's just going to replay and repeat and create these new neural pathways in your brain that makes that thought a habit, and then in turn becomes this pattern that's now running in your subconscious mind. So it's really about understanding that we were born wide open and that we don't have to put meaning other than our emotions tell us what it is that we truly want out of life. And what I want out of life is to be around people who support me emotionally, especially when I have something that I want to say that matters to me. Okay, the next step in this process is starting to dissociate. This is really truly about learning to cut ties with our limits. Learning to then say, because I'm no longer going to keep that thought that I don't matter, that my emotions don't matter, that what I say doesn't matter, I'm going to cut ties with all of those things. And I'm going to choose something different. Now, this is where step number 4 comes in, and the work really starts to take place. And step 4 is all about reconditioning. This is where we really dive into the emotional mastery, the subconscious rewiring, and the ability to connect with soul source. So, step number 1, awareness, understanding or becoming aware of what it is that's blocking you. Number 2, understanding that that doesn't have to be your truth, that you don't have to take that on. Step number 3, dissociating, cutting those ties. And step number 4, reconditioning, doing the work, starting to really have control over your emotions, really starting to be able to feel safe in your body so that your mind then feels safe to allow new thoughts, new ideas, and space to then have the ability to connect with soul source and your purpose and pure potential. And again, this is why we came here. We came here to experience this life. We came here to understand all of the emotions. We came here to experience the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows. And if we want to see massive transformation, we want to be able to connect with soul source. And kind of going back to what I said in the beginning, that pure potential, and really what it is the idea that because I myself am connected to pure potential, which is also connected to my individual consciousness as well as the cosmic consciousness, all I really have to do is connect with that. And this is really why in my program, I show my clients this meditation and the process, which can really help you connect to your pure potential, to infinite intelligence. And there's this 3-part meditation that we dive into, and really allows you to feel safe in your body, allows you to start opening your mind up to new ways of being and doing. And if this is something that you feel like is calling to you, I would love to invite you into the expansion portal where I teach this. I teach this to my clients, and the expansion portal really is for the ambitious, heart-led woman who has maybe lived in the hustle culture for a while, maybe has these limits and blocks that are keeping her from doing the things that she knows she is meant for. You've felt that before. You've had these experiences that tap you into that pure potential, and you know what's possible for you, but then you get kind of stuck in this 3D where your circumstances controlling the outcomes versus you get to step into your sovereign power and see that in being who you came here to be, as well as trusting divine timing, that you can truly start to expand and grow and see that quantum leap that you were hoping to achieve. So if that's something you're really like wanting to learn more about, I would love to invite you into the expansion portal. I will make sure to leave that link in the show notes. Okay, that's what I have for you today. I want to remind you that you are magical. Deep within you is all the answers that you need. And so often we get caught up in society thinking that the answers are outside of us, and they're all within. Every single bit of it is all within. And so if you're wanting to dive deep into that, stay tuned, because we're going to dive even deeper. And I'm so excited for the name change. Not that I don't love mindset. Mindset is like a huge part of what I teach. It's just that there's so much more than just mindset. And what I've found through my process is that there's a lot missing, and you have to like go out and like get get a coach who does the somatic work. You have to go get a coach who does the mindset work. You have to go get a coach who does the spirituality work, and then you have to go get a coach that has the strategy. And those are the 4 realms of where we exist: the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And what if we just start to combine it into this one beautiful space, and we understand that we create it by balancing all of it? So okay, stay tuned. If this episode was helpful in any way, shape, or form, please share it with a friend. Make sure you go and leave a rating. We're still going to be doing the giveaway, which is a 3-session deep dive into your human design, where you will really get to start to transform and start to step into alignment with who you came here to be. And how you do that is you go and leave a 5-star rating and review. And then tell us why you love this podcast, why you recommend it, and then that can spread into the universe and help other women who are thinking about stepping into their growth journey. Take a screenshot of your rating and review, and then send it to me, mindsetwithmary@gmail.com. Okay, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mwah.